150 years ago, or 200 years ago, when the blacks were slaves, did they ever go to Washington, D.C. and have a rally 200 years ago to protest against slavery? Did they? No. What did they do? Well, a lot of good people in the plantations would say, hey, it's wintertime. Let us help build a church for you, dear folks. And they loved them and taught them how to read so they can read the Bible. And here's what the blacks did about 150 years ago. They humbled themselves. They prayed. They sought God's face and they turned from their wicked ways. And God made slavery illegal through several white presidents, right? It worked.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
The institution of slavery is not inherently evil. I know. Some of you guys are upset by that. Some of you guys are saying, I've been saying that for years.
No, you thin-lipped mayo monkey. I'm not upset at all.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and I post something with too many expletives, I get flagged. I'm pretty sure this is probably on YouTube and has a copyright claim on it. But never mind letting logic get in the way of a good fucking scam. Now, to all the clear people that thinks like this man, that they want to uphold slavery and slavery wasn't inherently evil, let me just clear up two things. One, you're delusional. Two, it's in the history books that it was inherently evil. Owning a person and making them work for no wage, no incentive, no anything, having them die and then have their offspring born into slavery and continue the enslavement of a line of people, yeah, that's pretty inherently evil. I'm just going on the ledge to say that there. If you disagree, you might want to get a therapy or call this number 1-800 do the Lord's work, because clearly you don't have a handle on logic and reason. And there's gonna be a lot of people that say, well, you know, slavery was legal until it wasn't. It was the law. Just because something's legal don't make it right. If they legalize prostitution, that doesn't make it right. Sex selling is actually selling one's person. I don't think you need to do, I don't think in the world, unless you just want to do it. You want to do that, that's your thing. If you're forced to do that, or you have no other option, or you are just that intellectually lazy, should not be forced into slavery or sex slavery. Or not, my bad, not sex slavery, sex work. There's some things that just, you shouldn't have to actually sell yourself, be forced to do manual labor for no incentive, no pay. And on top of all that, there was cruel and unusual punishment and harsh tactics that was carried out on people. People were castrated, people were raped, people were essayed, people were experimented on, whether through childbearing, transgender experiments. The people were done torturous things to while under enslavement. It is inherently evil. When somebody tries to get away and get off the plantation, and you give it a terminology called drapetomania, that's what the hell it was. Yeah, so if you wanted to leave the plantation, they called it a mental illness that was invented to describe runaway slaves, was called drapetomania. The phrase was coined the term was coined in 1851 by physician Samuel A. Cartwright. It was a grotesque inversion of reality, reframing the logical desire for freedom as a disease. So that was inherently evil. People want to be free and not work on the plantation. You give it a mental illness and call it drapetomania. Yeah. I don't know why anybody would go on television or the internet and stand by this type of fuckery. I don't even know how you even fixed your brain to think that this was cool to say in an open forum. And I ain't gonna put this on like Trump, but I got reason to believe since Trump has been president, these people feel emboldened to say this type of stupidness out loud. It was once upon a time where people had stupid thoughts running around in their brain, and they just kept it. They just kept the stupid thoughts in their brain, right? Let them swirl around. They didn't say the shit out loud. And if they did, it was only to their friends. Now it seems like people, they let the intrusive thoughts get the best of them. They say the quiet part out loud. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people, man. I don't know if it's something in the water. I don't know if it's these people have always been this low IQ and unintelligent, or it's the fact that since Drake, since Trump has taken office, these people just feel the incessant need. They feel comfortable. The only thing I got to say is, man, people have been feeling real comfortable since Trump has been in office. Lucky for them, I haven't heard no crazy shit like this within earshot. And I'm not gonna say what I would do if I heard something crazy like this within earshot. Let's just say that impulsiveness that y'all like to talk about black people have. Oh, they say they can't control their impulses. Yeah, this would be one of those situations where I ain't trying to control my impulse. Now I'm not gonna go off the deep end, but he would actually get a lesson in decency and common sense. I think that's what a lot of people need. A lot of these people have slithered from under their rock that they live under, and they feel comfortable to say stuff like this on public forums, namely on the internet, right? Nobody's saying shit like this in person. Nobody. Let's just put that out there. You know what I'm saying? He's not saying this in a room full of anybody unless it's his friends. So we can safely assume he's only saying this shit amongst his friends and people he feel comfortable, or people that he know is too weak to do anything. And I don't mean just physically, I mean mentally, spiritually, psychologically. Hell, he's not even saying that shit in a room full of black people. Or let me take that back. He's not even saying that shit in a room full of white people that object to shit like that. He's saying it amongst races. And like, I'm gonna keep it real. I feel like you can say whatever you want that's racist amongst other racist people. The problem comes when you start putting this shit on the internet in the ethos. Now you running a risk of getting you know what I'm saying, getting the Bufata or the Mach 5. But look at, hey, I don't know, these people have always struck me as adrenaline junkies. They like to live on the wild side. And let me just be the first to say that when Donald Trump leaves office, you're gonna still have to live in America, and you better be very mindful of the videos and shit you said on social media or the YouTube, because YouTube, I'm not making any threats. I'm just gonna keep it real, like be realistic here. You never know, and this is what I think people are not actually acknowledging, but you never know who done seen your content and who has a long memory. And some people, I'm not gonna say what kind, but some people have a long memory and don't forget. And I'm just gonna say, you don't want to be this guy that gets spotted in public by a person with a long ass memory. I'm just gonna put that out there. May God be with him. For all the people that don't know, God is black. So then there's that. So if you think that slavery is cool, you gonna have a hard time explaining this shit to God and Jesus on the day of judgment. If there is such thing. I'm just gonna put that out there in the open. In any event, if y'all like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.